You need to hear this right now. And I need you to really let it land because something is shifting beneath your feet. This is the part of the story where they thought they knew how it ended. They thought you were the chapter they'd already written, the page they'd already turned. They placed you on this perfect, shining silver plate. They polished it, arranged it, and they were ready to present you to the world as proof of their power, their control, their flawless plan. They thought they'd just lie there, you just lie there, looking pretty, waiting to be consumed. They thought you were the trophy. They thought you were the pawn. They thought you were the scapegoat. They thought you were the servant. They thought you were their ending. But they made a critical error, mistake. They forgot you were the one holding the hammer. And you were born to break things. You felt it, didn't you? That moment of being positioned, framed, assigned a role you never auditioned for. They were so careful, so methodical. They had the narrative built, the stage lit, the script ready. You were supposed to walk in, smile, and play your part, your role. You were meant to be a footnote in their epic, a stepping stone on their path. You were meant to be the sacrifice that made their victory possible. But here's the thing about the people who tried to serve you on a silver platter. They have absolutely no idea what you are made of. They see the surface. They hear the silence and they assume it's compliance. They mistake your patience for weakness. They mistake your stillness for fear. They mistake your kindness for submission. They have no clue about the fire that's been slowly, quietly building inside you while they were busy planning your demise. This happens in big ways and small, doesn't it? It's not always dramatic betrayal or a public humiliation. Sometimes it is 1,000 tiny betrayals that whisper to you that you are not enough, too much. It's the colleague who steals your idea and presents it as their own, then smiles at you in the hallway as if you are part of the team. It's the family member who always positions you as the problem, the unstable one, the one who cannot be trusted, so that they can feel better about their own chaos. It's the partner who makes you feel small so they can feel big, who dims your light so theirs can shine brighter. It's the friend, who keeps you in a box labeled the listener, the fixer, because they need you to be that. They need you to serve them. They want you on that platter, exactly where they put you. And they have gotten so comfortable with you being there. They have stopped seeing you as a person at all. You've become a fiction or a function, a fixture, a tool. They don't see you waking up in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, feeling that quiet whisper in your soul that just knows that this isn't your destiny, that the energy that's coming to a head right now, this is not just a random upheaval or a moment of bad luck. This is a cosmic correction. This is the universe stepping in and saying, enough. You have been participating in a story that wasn't written for you. And you have been doing it so long, you almost forgot what your own voice sounds like. You are so used to accommodating, to shrink, to taking up less space, that you've learned to live in the margins of your own life. You're so good at being the one who makes everyone else comfortable that you've become uncomfortable in your own skin. You have learned to smile when you want to scream, to agree when you want to fight, to step back when you want to step forward. And they have been feeding on that. Yeah, they have been nurtured by your compliance. They have been strengthened by your silence. But that silence is about to shatter. There is a wind coming. I can feel it. It's a gust of clarity that's about to blow through the stale air of your life and blow the doors off of every single assumption they made about you. It starts with the quiet realization and epiphany that you just can't shake. Maybe it's a single sentence someone says to you, a piece of information you were not supposed to hear, a pattern you finally cannot ignore. It arrives in a way that feels random, almost accidental, but you know, deep down, it isn't. It's the last piece of the puzzle. It's the key detail that makes everything make sense. It's a moment of truth hidden for so long, suddenly placed right in front of you. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. When you know, you cannot unknown. And in that moment, the dynamic changes forever. You start to realize that you have been their audience. You've been sitting in the dark, watching their show, applauding their performances, and believing the storyline they sold you. They bought the story that you were the problem, that you were too sensitive, too demanding, too difficult, too much. So you bought the story that you were lucky to be included, lucky to be chosen, lucky to be on the platter at all. But something woke up in you. Maybe it was a dream that left you feeling strange and powerful. Maybe it was a moment of desperate prayer, crying out to anything that would listen for a sign that you were not crazy. Maybe it was just your own spirit, finally, fed up with being suffocated, screaming at you to wake up. And wake up, you did. You see, when you're on their silver platter, you are not a person, you are a symbol. You represent something they need to control. Maybe you represent their insecurity. And by keeping you down, they feel taller. Maybe you represent their fear, and by silencing you, they feel safer. Maybe you represent their past, and by keeping you trapped in a role, they can pretend they have escaped their own demons. You are the mirror they don't want to look into. You are the truth they don't want to face. You are the power they are terrified you will remember you possess. So they had to put you in a box. They had to wrap you in ribbons. They had to serve you on a silver platter to convince everyone, including themselves, that you were nothing more than an ornament. But here's the irony. They underestimated you because they were too busy underestimating themselves. They projected all their limitations onto you. They looked at you and saw the version of themselves they were running from. They didn't see you. They never saw you. And that blindness is about to be their undoing. And then it happens, the moment of shattering. It isn't a loud, theatrical explosion. It's quite precise, immovable decision you make. You decide you're done. You decide that the cost of the platter is too high. You decide that being comfortable is not the same as being free. You look at the script they've written for you and you close the book. You step off the silver platter, but you don't just step off, do you? No, you take that beautiful, gleaming, perfect thing they've put so much effort into, and you shatter it on the floor. You don't just walk away from the role. You destroyed the stage. The sound of that plate breaking is the sound of their song being sung. It's the chorus of their victory turned to ash in their mouths. It's the note they held so proudly suddenly cracking into 1,000 pieces, because their song was always about control. It was about you being small, them being big, you being confused, them being right. It was a song about your diminishment. And the moment you shatter the plate, the song stops. The melody vanishes. The orchestra falls silent. They are left with nothing but their own voices, and suddenly they sound hollow. They sound fragile. They sound like they are the lies they've always been singing to themselves. The lies. They thought they'd have the final word. They thought the whole world would see you served and they'd be the ones doing the serving. They imagined the applause, the admiration, the sense of power that would come from having you exactly where they wanted you. But the applause they hear now is just the sound of you standing up for the very first time. And it's deafening. Maybe you know who I'm talking about right now. You might be picturing a face, hearing a voice, feeling a familiar knot in your stomach. It's a specific energy, isn't it? It's a pressure in your chest that you've been carrying around like a backpack full of bricks. It's the weight of expectations that you were never yours to carry. It's the exhaustion of forming or a version of yourself that you never agreed to be. This is the person or the group of people who have been the architects of your cage. Yeah, they've been the ones deciding what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot say. They've been the ones who dictate your worth based on how well you serve their needs. They've been the ones who've made you feel like you're one mistake away from being cast out, one wrong word away from losing everything. But the thing about cages is they only hold you as long as you believe they can. The bars are only as real as your fear of what lies outside them. And you've been looking at those bars for so long, you forgot they were just bars. You forgot that you could reach out and bend them. You forgot that the key was always in your own pocket. You forgot that the door was never locked. And now you're not just walking out of the cage. You are tearing it down. You are taking the silver platter they built for you, and you are using it as a battering ram to destroy every single thing they built to contain you. This is happening right now. It's happening in your career, where you've been the invisible engine behind someone else's success. They take the credit, they take the glory, and they leave you to clean up the mess. You've been their secret weapon, their hidden asset, the thing they use and then hide away. But you are done being hidden. You are done making other people look good while you disappear into the background. You are done watching them climb the ladder you built for them. You are stepping out from the shadows and claiming the space you deserve, and they cannot stop you. They don't know how to compete with someone who's finally figured out their own worth. They are still singing their old song, but the tune has changed and they are out of key. Maybe it's in your relationships. You've been the one holding everything together. You've been the one making sacrifices, accommodating, smoothing things over, taking the blame, absorbing the hurt. You've been the one who makes the other person feel good about themselves while you secretly feel like you're disappearing. They expected you to keep doing that forever. Yeah, they expected you to keep being the one who serves, the one who supports, the one who never asks for anything in return. But you've realized, that a relationship built on you being small is no relationship at all. And you cannot stay in a partnership where you are a side character in your own love story. You are tearing up the script. You are rewriting the ending. And they are sitting there, stunned, because their song just hit a sore note they never expected. They thought you would be their audience forever. They didn't realize you were the lead the whole time. You are the lead. This is also happening inside you. There is an internal shift that's more profound than anything external. You are looking at the person you've been and realizing you don't have to be that person anymore. You have been carrying a story about yourself that they fed you. You've been believing you are not enough, you are too much, you are wrong, you are broken. You have been believing that your power is dangerous, that your voice, your beautiful voice, is a problem, that your presence is an imposition. But those are the lies that kept you on the platter. Those are the locks on your cage, and you are breaking every single one of them. You are looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is capable of more than you ever imagined. You are seeing someone who has been through the fire and emerged as something unbreakable. You are seeing someone who can shatter plates and build empires in the same breath. The version of you that they thought they could control is gone. They are not dealing with her or him anymore. They are dealing with a person who dismantles their own chains just to see if she or he can. And I want you to really feel that, what this means. They didn't just underestimate your strength. They underestimated your capacity for change. They thought you were static, predictable, broken in ways they could rely on. They thought you were a constant, a fixed point in their universe of manipulation. But humans do not stay the same. Yeah, the soul evolves, the spirit grows. You have been growing, changing, strengthening, and evolving right under their noses. While they were busy polishing that silver platter and planning your public sacrifice, you were secretly training for a revolution. You were building an inner world so strong that no prison could hold you. I'm proud of you. You were healing in ways they will never understand. You were becoming the person who would eventually walk through the door of opportunities and refuse to be served. There is a certain kind of satisfaction in this, isn't there? Yeah, it's not petty or vengeful, no. It's a deep, soul deep knowing that you were never their victim, even when you played the part. It's the clarity that comes from finally seeing the whole picture. It's the peace of knowing that their song, which was so loud and so confident, is now just background noise. They can keep singing, but the audience is gone. The audience is you, and you've left the theater. You are outside in the fresh air looking at the stars, and they are still on stage, performing to an empty room. Their song was always for them, never for you. And now they are forced to hear it for what it really is. A pathetic, desperate plea for relevance world that's moved on without them. This is the moment of your empowerment. You may not feel like a superhero. You may not feel like a revolutionary. You may just feel tired and relieved and a little bit sad. Yeah, sad. And that's okay. There is a mourning period for the person who you used to be, for the illusions you used to hold, for the relationships that were never what they seemed. Let yourself feel all of that. But underneath the exhaustion and the sadness and the relief, there is a current of power. Yeah, it's the knowledge that you survived. It's the certainty that you see clearly now. It's the quiet confidence that you will never be put on a silver platter again. You will never be their pawn. You will never be their story. You will never be their ending. You are the author of your own life now. And the ink is burning hot in your hands. They made a critical mistake. They thought you'd be served on a silver platter, but you just shattered the plate. Yeah, the sound of it breaking is the sound of your liberation. The shards flying in all directions are the pieces of their control, scattering, becoming useless, becoming part of the dust of your feet, at your feet. And their song, the one they were so proud of, the one they thought would be your anthem, it's finished. It's sung. It's over. The last note echoes, and then there is silence. And that silence is yours. You feel it with your truth. You feel it with your laughter. You feel it with the sound of your own voice for the very first time. And it sounds like home. It sounds like freedom. It sounds like the beginning of everything they said you couldn't have. They thought you would be crushed. They thought you would be broken. They thought you would be resigned. They expected to see you diminished, defeated, devastated. They expected to see you as a cautionary tale. But here you are, standing in the shards of the world they built for you, looking more like a masterpiece than a tragedy. Yeah. You are not a victim of their song. You are the critic who walked out. You are the composer who burned the sheet music. You are the singer who found her own voice and realized it's the only one that matters. And so you move forward, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not with revenge, but with certainty. You move forward with the knowledge that the people who tried to control you were never as powerful as they seemed. They were just loud. They were just persistent. They were just confident in their own delusion. But delusion is not truth, and persistence is not power, and control is not love. Yeah. They had all the external trappings of strength, but they lacked what you have always had. They lacked the capacity for real, unbreakable, soul-deep resilience. They lacked the ability to look at a broken plate and see a door. They lacked the courage to walk away from a story that was never theirs to tell. You have all of that. You have more than they will ever understand. And as you walk away from the shattered plate, leaving their song to die in the silence, you realize that you are the power, and you release the most important truth of all. The person you've become is not because of them, but in spite of them. You grew through the pressure. You rose through the resilience. You became a diamond because they tried to burn you. And now the world is waiting for the person you are, not the person they tried to make you be. The world doesn't need you on a silver platter. It needs you on your own terms, powerful and free, and completely, unstoppably you. And the best part, they will never see it coming. They never have. They underestimated you completely, and they always will. But you know, and that's all that matters. You know you're the one holding the hammer, and you were born to break things. Now, go be everything they said you couldn't be.